What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Bluebeard podcast, your daily podcast for all things Michigan football, Michigan basketball, and all Michigan sports. I'm Chris, your host. Thanks for hanging out with me to talk a little Michigan Wolverines. We got a great show today. I'm going to first talk a little bit about basketball, only because I want to show you three things, two rankings for transfer portal classes so far, and tell you where Michigan lands in those, and take a look at a poll that got put out about the top 10 college basketball teams in the last decade. See where Michigan lands on there. It's pretty interesting and a little comical too, and I'll tell you why. And then for most of the video, we're going to talk about the messy end to Kyle Whittingham's time in Utah. I've wanted to talk about it a couple times, but wanted to make sure the stories all seem straight. And now that On3 did their big piece on Whittingham and talked about that a lot, I think it's a good time to give you my thoughts and allow you to give me your thoughts in the comments below. So we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about how baseball and softball did in their final series as the regular season winds down. See how they kicked off big weekend series. And we'll wrap it up with question of the day results, as always. All that and more on this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Let's go blue, and let's get to it. Big or new with Michigan basketball, of course. Not surprising news. Kind of a source, supposedly, behind the scenes that is in talks with Michigan and Juke Harris's camp, but cannot come public and has to protect their sources and their connections, all that stuff. But supposedly, it's been reported by multiple things, including Tony Garcia, the Detroit Free Press, that this person, the source, says that both Michigan and Juke Harris have agreed to go in different directions and not pursue being together. So that sounded like I was talking about them breaking up, but you know what I mean. But this is no surprise. Early on, it looked like Michigan would get him, but then as time went on and he was yo-yoing back and forth, and now with NBA and his interest with Tennessee and their interest in him, it just seemed like Michigan had kind of moved on, and it sounds like that's confirmed. But either way, that was just something I read, wanted to share. But what I wanted to talk about was three things. Two transfer portal lists that list the top teams, rank the top teams transfer portal hauls. I want to talk about those first, 247 and On3. Now, an important thing to remember with these is that it uses a kind of analytics-based thing based on how many stars the players are, their ratings amongst all these different things, and how many recruits you have, because, you know, the more points you get, the higher you're going to be. So, and if you have a lot of good players and with the high points, anyway, let's take a look at where they are. So, 247 has Michigan just in the top 10 at number 9, and On3 has Michigan just outside the top 10 at number 11. Now, the interesting thing, if you look at these, now, great rankings, and the whole, especially college basketball, because there's not the whole FCS, there's not as much separation. There's way more teams in college basketball that would qualify for this ranking system than there would be in like college football. So great rankings, of course, but Michigan will end up being higher, I think, because if you look at everyone else on the list, they all have signed 5-6 players. Michigan has 3. So the fact that they're in that top 10 area with only 3 compared to double what other teams have shows how good those 3 are, including Mustafa Cham. So I think Michigan will add a couple more players, probably some wing help, maybe another point guard, and then we'll probably be talking about maybe a top 5 class. But for now, that's where they are. I think they should be at least top 10, but like I said, this is analytical, so it is what it is. Until they get a couple more guys, I think they're going to stay right around there. But I thought that was interesting. And then what I really wanted to show you was this graphic that I saw. A lot of people are starting to put out these lists at the end of the season. And this one was top 10, or it was like top teams in the last decade. And Michigan comes in at number 6. Now, you could argue that they could be number 5 over Gonzaga because they got a national championship, which Gonzaga hasn't gotten. So, but still, number 6, very good. And what's interesting is we always hear from Spartan fans how we've owned Michigan. We're still the better team overall. You just got lucky, blah, blah, blah. Michigan State is not above Michigan. They are number 10. And funny enough, they're not even the second best Big Ten team on this list. They're third. Wisconsin is number 9. So just it's always fun to poke a little fun at little bro. So Michigan number 6 could really be top 5, but it's just interesting. You think about all the good runs they've had in the Sweet 16s, at least all those years. So yeah, it's awesome. Things are good. Dusty May's going to keep us there, and we're just going to keep adding the hardware and adding success, and it's a good time to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Heck yeah, go blue. Let's talk football. But first, let me share with you a little bit about our sponsor, Second Heart Ministries. This episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast is brought to you by Second Heart Ministries. In a world where so many are overlooked, forgotten, and struggling to be seen, there's a place where they matter. At Second Heart Ministries, they serve veterans, the homeless, special needs families, those battling addiction, underprivileged children, and men and women behind prison walls, reminding them they are not alone and they are not beyond hope. But they can't do it without you. Maybe you can't give financially, and that's okay. But something as simple as hitting follow on their Facebook page helps them to reach the ones who need the most. Because sometimes the smallest act of support can change a life. Second Heart Ministries, giving hope, a second chance, and a second heart. You can find information about Second Heart Ministries in the description box down below. Go blue. On3 recently did a huge piece on Kyle Whittingham and him coming to Michigan and how things are looking. And there's a lot in there. I'll link it down below. You can watch it. It's great if you haven't watched it yet. And there's a lot in there that I'll probably talk about in the coming weeks. You know, we're in this period where there's not a ton to talk about. We'll talk about a lot of recruiting stuff, all that. But anyway, but what I want to talk about today is something that I've wanted to touch on for a while, but I didn't want to talk about it until it kind of seemed like that is what happened. And now after that, and the story stayed the same. Of course, Kyle Whittingham was at Utah forever. Beloved. I mean, he raised his family there. He stayed in one place. He was loyal to the university, all of that stuff. And then suddenly he stepped down and he was available and Michigan scooped him up. And then things started to trickle out. You know, he started to see some fans at first say, oh, good for him. It was pretty much universal, like where it was like, good for him. We wish him well. Or, I can't believe Utah let him go or pushed him out. But then you started to hear wrinkles in their fan base of where some fans got kind of like, ooh, because he started taking some players, taking some coaches with him, all of that stuff. And then it came split where a lot of fans were like, he's taking all this, he's leaving us in a worse spot, that's not right, blah blah blah. And a lot of fans were still like, hey, I still love the guy, they did him dirty, like he can take his guys. So I get both of those stances. Side note, I get both because, you know, when Harbaugh left and went to the NFL and took a lot of our good staff, it was like, oh man, come on, you got to take all of them. But at the same time, it was like, hey, we got a natty, you know, go chase your dream in the NFL. Of course, he's going to bring his guys, just like Whittingham's going to get his guys. So I think most fans get that, but I get the ones that are a little like about it. But anyway. But things started to come out about how everything went down. Of course, you had Morgan Scully there as the DC coach in waiting. And I think they thought that Whittingham was going to retire. But then a couple seasons ago, they had a bad year because of some injuries. You know, like, I mean, they still made a bowl game and all that, but not their 10-plus win seasons that he likes to have. And he wanted to come back one more year. So then he came back another year, and they had a great year last year. And then he wasn't done. He wanted to keep coaching. He didn't want to step down. He didn't want to retire, but they wanted, I think maybe Scully was getting a little antsy. Mark Harlan, the AD, definitely was getting a little antsy. So they came up with this, comeback offer for him. And it's really insane when you think about it. But so it was going to be a 1-year deal, $8 million, but Morgan Scully was going to have complete control over everything. Player acquisition, player development, coaching decisions, staff decisions, anything football related, he was going to have a say over. And also, AD, Mark Harlan, was going to have a complete say over any staffing hires, any front office, anything going on. So basically, Whittingham could give ideas, but he wasn't allowed to do anything. So he would not really have been the coach. And they were going to let Scully be kind of GM too role. And then also, to make it worse, they said, we're also going to have someone from the AD office always around there, kind of making sure things are going smooth. And if you break any of these rules, you do any of these things you're not supposed to, we're going to fine you 500 grand. And if you do it twice, you're going to get terminated. So who in the hell would agree to that and come back? Especially a guy that has given his life to this university, and is a legend. Like, that's insane to me. I mean, and I think in the end it's funny because they didn't think somebody like Michigan would come calling. They just thought they probably hoped he'd be like, well, that sucks, I'll just retire, instead of risking getting fired and having it end messy. But then he steps down, and then Michigan comes. He wants to keep coaching. Here comes Michigan. Perfect job for him. Perfect match. And then he ends up taking all those staff, some of their recruits, some of their best players, and it kind of blew up in their face. I think they'll still be good. Scully's a good coach. I love Whittingham because I've said this before. I used to watch all the Utah games late at night. They were kind of my favorite West Coast team. So I love Whittingham, and I've always thought it'd be cool if Michigan got him. So when they got him, it was like, heck yeah. So I'll still root for Utah. I'll still watch them. I'll still pull for them, but I do think they did him dirty. And, let me know in the comments what you think. But if you think about this in real life, if you were at your job for 20 some years, gave everything to it, and it's getting close to time to retire, but you don't want to retire it. You love your job. You enjoy the workplace, the people you work with, and you feel like you're making a difference. You want to keep doing it. And they come to you and they say, hey, we really appreciate the decades of service you've given the company, but we got this hotshot young guy coming in that we think really can do a good job. You've done a good job, but we think he can really do a good job too. But we think the optics will be really good for our company. We think it'll look really good having him lead us into the new age and all that stuff. And we just think it's, time for some new blood. But we get you want to stay. We get you to stay. So we're going to let him do your job. We're going to pay you a decent salary for the next year, but we're going to let him do your job. You can still be here and kind of tell him, point things out to him, help him along, but he's really going to be doing your job, but you'll be in the position. And then, if you want to make any changes to your staff or your group, or any changes to your job or how things are done, I have to approve that first. And he really is the one that needs to do it. So you'll have to tell him. And if you just so somebody from corporate, is also one of my assistant managers, is going to be hanging around there, around your office and everything, just to make sure things are going smooth and you're following these rules that we're putting in place. And if you don't, I'm going to have to dock your pay a bit. If you do it once, if you do it twice, I'm going to have to fire you and you won't be able to retire and kind of on your own terms. So, sound good? Hell no. Like, when you think about it, it is insane. So Whittingham is a badass, and he said, you know what? It's a little Friends reference there if you don't know. But he said, no thanks, but no thanks. And he stepped down and said, I want to still coach. And he went to Michigan, and we are reaping the benefits. And he took some of their best coaches and best players and recruits. And it was a beautiful thing, but they're still going to be fine. And I appreciate all the Utah fans that have come on the channel in videos and stuff and talked about how they still support him. Michigan's their second favorite team now, and that they do think that he got done dirty, and they get it and they wish him well. But I also get the fans that feel betrayed or anything, but come on. I mean, the guy was there forever. And you know what? He's still got the fire. You can see it. He's a great coach. Like, why get mad at a guy for wanting to do what he's going to do? And if he's going to go be a coach, he's going to bring his people. So you can't get mad at it. But yeah, I think Utah made a mistake. Like, I mean, who knows? Maybe Scully said, I'm going to go somewhere else if I can't be coach. And they, maybe they didn't want to lose him, but I just think it wasn't handled well. And Harlan does not seem like a very, tactful negotiator or a guy that's gonna really care about people's feelings or anything, because all his weird comments about Slosy Moa and stuff, like, I don't know. I mean, I obviously don't know him, but Just the way he handles things. So I think Whittingham got done dirty, and I think I'm happy for him that he was able to go somewhere where he's wanted and he has a chance to go for a natty, which was really hard to do at Utah, but he might have a better shot at Michigan for sure. And I can't wait to see how it all works out. We are lucky to have him, and I think it's wild. I really do. Like, when you really think about that offer, it's wild to offer that to anybody, but to a legend that really could have a statue outside your football stadium. That's what, and it's not like he's out to pasture, like not a good coach. He's old and senile and doesn't know what's going on or something. The dude is a beast, and he's still got the fire, and he's an amazing coach, and he's building something special in Michigan. He's all in, and Utah's loss, our gain. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I just cannot believe, like, when I heard all that first, it was like, there's no way that's exactly what happened. But now I've heard it multiple times, multiple sources, and that's what happened. And that's insane to me. So let me know what you think again in the comments, but it's wild. We'll talk about this more, I'm sure, as time goes on. But to me, it's just insane. And I'm just glad that he got out of there and landed somewhere where he is going to be able to make a new legacy, and I can't wait. Michigan started their weekend series against Maryland on a 5-series winning streak as they're trying to cement their place in the College World Series tournament. They got the Big Ten tournament coming up too, so they've got a lot of shots. They're right there on the bubble, so we'll see if they can make it in. But first game, they won against Maryland 2-1. They improved to 28-17, 13-9 in the Big Ten. Let's see. Junsing Park had a home run in the 10th inning to go up 10-1 in extras, and Michigan held on. Gavin DeVoe struck out 4 over the final 4 innings to secure the victory. So great win for Michigan. They'll continue their series. They play today at 2 p.m. It's going to be on Big Ten Plus, and that is in Maryland, at Maryland. So exciting stuff. Things are getting crazy. And Michigan softball has a big weekend series with Michigan State, and they won the first game as well, 6-1. They improved to 31-19, 9-13 in the Big Ten, and it's always good to beat Sparty. And they just had a great game. Lauren Putz had 3 extra base hits, including 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Jessica Conway had 3 hits, and Eric Hone, a fantastic pitcher, earned the win, struck out 5, and allowed just 1 run on 10 hits and 2 walks, stranding 11 Michigan State base runners. They'll play Michigan State again today at Michigan State at 5 p.m. It'll be on Big Ten Plus. You can watch them back to back. But they both need to have a great showing this weekend, and then we'll see kind of how things go at the Big Ten tournament. But go root on the Maize and Blue baseball and softball teams, and I'll let you know how that goes tomorrow. Now it's time for the results to the last 2 days' questions of the day. Remember, I ask a question today every day, so if you haven't voted on today's, go vote after this video. So this point of the video, sometimes I talk a little personal life stuff, not a lot, but a little bit. I don't want to push away a new person who just wants to hear about football. But anyway, the reason we have 2 is because yesterday I got a new car. I got a little, very fun little mini compact SUV, an EcoSport, spelled EcoSport, but it's EcoSport. They don't make them anymore in the U.S. But I love, you can see here, it's just this cool little SUV. The inside looks really cool with this orange racing stripe and stuff everywhere. Really good on gas mileage. It's fun to drive. You can shift between manual and automatic and into sport mode, and has these little shifter paddles. You can like go up and down gears as you go around corners or onto a highway, and it's just really fun to drive. It's like driving a go-kart the way it handles. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I traded in my big truck. I love the truck, but I've been fixing something on it every other week lately, and now something else came up, which I could have fixed, but it's just bleeding money, and it's so bad on gas, and gas prices are going up. But anyway, so I got a new car. I did it through Carvana, which was pretty cool. All online, and then they delivered it to me, picked up my truck, as you can see in the picture, and then I was at the dealership all day because I went and got it checked out, all inspected because you have 7 days to return it. Checked out, great car, so we're good to go there. But anyway, that's why I couldn't get a video out yesterday. I was busy all day. It just turned into an all-day affair. So anyway, I owe you 2 question of the day results. So let's go back 2 days ago. I asked about Urban Meyer because he was part of that On3 Kyle Whittingham thing. They're friends. And I said, if Michigan and Ohio State both have a great year next year, could he maybe hesitate or not pick Ohio State before the game when they give their expert predictions? If they're both really good, could he go with his friend and say Michigan's going to win? You could say, hell no, he's a homer. He'll always pick Ohio State. Yes, friends come first. Maybe. Interesting. Or let's just see how next season goes first, buddy. Results are in, and here they are. As you can see here, as expected, most people said, hell no, he's a homer. He'll always pick Ohio State. And I think that's right. He wouldn't want to face the wrath of the Buckeye Nation, but it is interesting. I'm just interested to see what he says. Because if Michigan and Ohio State both are doing good, and they're both good teams, and it's going to be a good game that could go either way, he may pick Ohio State, but I don't think he'll be, because he usually always is like, Ohio State's going to win easily, or I don't think he'll say anything like that when his best friend, one of his best friends, is the coach of Michigan. I'm just interested to see how he words things. But anyway, let's talk about the next one. The next one, I said, what will Dusty May do in the portal between now and when it's all said and done? You could say nothing. He's done. He's good. He won't get anybody else. He's going to sign a point guard. He's going to sign a wing player. Or he's going to do both a point guard and a wing player. Results are in, and here they are. As you can see here, I agree with you. It was close for a while between just signing a wing and signing both a point guard and a wing, but signing both a point guard and a wing won out, and I do think that's what he'll do. I think he sees, even with that recruiting class coming in with Hartman and McCoy, I think that he'll still want to get another veteran presence as a backup guard, somebody that can handle the ball, and that'll allow them, when they're in there, not always to have to. They can play off the ball because they're both good scorers, and they could play at the wing a little bit. So it'll give him more flexibility, and I think he needs to get at least one wing that really, can be a difference maker, where that's like their position. Because McKinney could play a little wing. McCoy could play a little wing. Maybe Goodman and Leibard can play some there. But you don't know for sure, and that's not like their specific spot. Malachi Brown could be an awesome freshman coming in. He is a wing player, but he's a freshman. So I think he'll for sure get that, but I think he'll get both. So I think you guys are right. Thanks everybody that voted. If you didn't vote on today's, go vote after this video. That's going to do it for this episode of the Amazing Bluebeard Podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you had a fun time. If it's your first time here or you haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting that sub button. Just do it now real quick. Hit it. You can become a part of this community. You'll know when I have videos out, posts, question of the days, shorts, live streams, and all of those types of things. And also, you'll be a part of a great community that we're growing as we continue our push towards 1,000 subs, at which time we'll do a live stream celebration, and I will and I will dye my beard maize and blue. So become a part of the community. We'd love to have you. Hit the like button, helps the channel grow. Also leaving comments, it helps all the algorithm, and they'll push us out to more people. But also, I respond to every comment, so please leave one so I can talk to you down there. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. And until then, Michigan fans, enjoy your Saturday, and as always, go blue.